Welcome back to another Flames of War battle report. This is mission 3 of the River Assault campaign that I'm running with Tedor. I'm playing as the Allies and Tedor is playing as the Axis. But River Assault is mainly based around the Eastern Front, but we've decided to use the Western Front, so what we are doing around is Market Garden. So our forces are all coming from the order of battle for both forces, and basically if you've not seen any of the other missions, I suggest you go and watch the other two before you get to here, because it's linked. Each mission affects the outcome of the other ones. So let's have a look at today's mission, which is Foothold. So here's today's mission, a Foothold from the River Assault campaign pack. So I will actually be defending in this one, so Tito's going to have to come to me and my reserves will be coming from behind him. So I need to keep him away from my objectives, and hopefully my reserves will come in quickly and stop him getting a win again. So here's Tito's list: 2 formations, fallschirmjäger company and an armoured SS panzergrenadier company, but these will be 9th. 3 panthers in reserve, so basically this shows what the Germans are able to cobble together to form a counterattack against the British, who have just formed a bridgehead on the river. So they're gonna a lot of infantry to rush towards me and hopefully push me back on the other side of the river and secure the bridges again. So here we have the infantry elements of the SS Panzergrenadiers. So we have a HQ with their half track, a platoon with 4 half tracks, and then we have another platoon slogging it on foot, but these guys have a Panzerfaust. And again, all upgraded to 9th SS, apart from the half tracks, of course. So they're hit on 4s rather than the aggressive 3. Still in formation, we have 4 armoured 7.5 centimeter half tracks, fan favourite at the moment, really good against medium armour and light armour, very good with the SS motivation. 4 armoured 8 centimeter mortars, again really good, can't pin them, so unless someone can get a direct shot to them, they'll fall apart. And then 2 flamethrower half tracks for Tedor, very dangerous flamethrowers. If you don't know, you have to re-roll your saves if they hit you, and they're auto firepower as well, so really good again, rid of guns and dug-in infantry, these 2. And over to the Fallschirmjäger company, just a small contingent for them, 2 short platoons of 7 teams, and we have a HQ of 2 SMG teams, and then 2 heavy machine guns. No Panzerfausts with these guys, but there is a command card attached to them, which I'll go over at the end. Okay, German support, not a bad thing to cobble together, finding 3 Panthers, very difficult for me to deal with their front armour 9. Panthers haven't had the best run of form on this channel or in general in this version. With the cost, generally people prefer to take Tigers over them, but it'd be nice to see these. These are all support our SS, so slightly cheaper. So 3 SS Panthers, 3 SS Vesps, and a SDKFZ 250 Scout Troop, which have usually do quite well for Tedor, apart from last game where I took him out straight away, mainly for the fact is he's so good at using them. So let's see how good they are today. So 2 command cards, best infantry is for the SS, and then we have the 6th Fallschirmjäger Division, Van der Heit. It basically gives them an excellent last stand rating of 2+, as long as the unit leader is within 6 inches of the formation commander. So again, Tito's trying to go as historical as possible, which is nice to see, and it's nice to see him running so many infantry, although infantry are very good and usually quite difficult to get rid of. So let's go on to my list. Okay, so this is my list today. Although the Shermans did not do particularly well last game, struggling with a few SS Panzer IVs and not really achieving anything, and giving them another run out because it's not too far off the 40 points for reserves, so I'll chuck them all in and hopefully they'll come on quickly. And I wanted something to spread around to be in reserve, not in reserve, on the table defending the objective. So I went for a motor company, just because their fire rate is pretty good even while pinned. The only downside is they're very small platoons. Got some good 6-pounders in there, most likely will be my ambush. Some universal carriers for mobile MG fire, and then in support 25-pounders back for a long absence on his channel since the Saxtons have been so good, and 2 Daimler troops, just because I had a feeling Tedor would be employing a lot of half tracks and I felt they might be a good counter. And just 1 command card left for me, and that is the lucky command card. So here is the Sherman armoured squadron, a lot to prove from last game. Literally same setup as last game as well. So 2 HQ tanks and 3 troops of 3 Shermans. 1 is a Firefly with its anti-tank 14. So these tanks will actually be able to deal with the Panthers, which is nice. Infantry element of the motor company. So 3 platoons and 2 HQ units. So each platoon has 4 brand gun teams, a Piat and a mortar. So fire rate is 3 stationary and 2 pinned. So not too bad fire rate with them, but with no upgrades, they rally on a 5+ with their war weariness, which isn't great. But other than that, they're your standard British infantry, so they got Bulldog and Deadly Assault as well. So if they do rally and get into assault, they're decent. Still in the motor company, we have 2 units of 3 universal carriers. Again, really good, solid 3 shots each, even on the move, so they can get rid of any infantry outside of bulletproof cover. And then 4 6-pounders, so 80-11, so close range might be able to threaten the Panthers, but they're only 4+ firepower, so they will be decent against half tracks as well. Okay, and then we have the support, so we have 4 25-pounders. Was persuaded to take these with by Tom because obviously they're an artillery unit and they're also quite competent anti-tank guns. Only being anti-tank 9, but they do have a 3+ firepower, direct fire, 2 shots, and they only go down to 1 shot when pinned. They're not brutal, slow firing or anything like that. But the good thing about them is they're not forward firing, so you won't really be able to sneak up on them either. And they are 3+ motivation and 3+ skill as well. And also in the support, you can see the 2 Daimler troops. So each one has 2 Daimlers and a Dingo. So again, going against half tracks with these, but they also have the same complement of MGs as universal carriers for the same cost. So these will be running around doing some work and hopefully keeping the enemy away from my objectives. So here's today's battle. I'll be defending the right hand side with the river. You might just be able to make out the die marking out the deployment zone. So the dice, there's 2 sets of dice by the river, 1 marking the objective zone, and you can see my objective already down on the bottom bridge by the building, and then the dice further along are the edge of my deployment. And then in the middle, in a bit of the town in the woods, you can see the strip where Tedor's going to be deploying. And that is the table for today. And now we'll be going to see what the Oracle of Battle has to say. Okay, so my wife, the Oracle of Battle, now predicts the outcomes of the battle. She usually has quite a good strike rate, and she is predicting Tedor and his Waffen SS fallschirmjäger formation to carry the day today. She was wrong last game, so make sure you take note and see if she's right at the end of today's battle. Okay, so here we have deployment. Tedor put his objective on his side of the river, it'd be easier for him to get to. So I've put my 25-pounders, 1 of my motor infantry platoons, Daimlers and UCs around it to try and protect it. I also have my HQ on the bridge to provide rerolls for the guns, the platoon and the UCs. On the other side, to protect the bridge leading to my objective, I have a platoon of infantry behind the hill, deployed outside of the template. Tedor also ranged in on the factory, so I put my motor infantry outside with the Daimlers and the UCs hiding in the shadows. Now going against me, we have the armoured platoon and the HQ with the recon. Recon, I'm turning into Tedor, and then he has the flamethrowers and the stummels and the Vesps on this side. On his left flank we have one of the platoons of the fallschirmjäger, the other one's on the other side of the woods with the HQ with their MGs in the woods. We also have the 8cm mortars in this forest with the SS Grenadiers behind with the Panzerfausts. And then finally we have the 3 Panthers just behind the forests here. So Tedor will have first turn, so best of luck to him. Okay, so German movement. The 3 Panthers have moved into the woods. One of them rolled a 1, so failed the cross-check to get in. Fallschirmjäger and HQ moved under my template with a follow me, so let's see if anything interesting is going to happen after this. Other Fallschirmjäger unit is by here, moving into the wheat field, failed to follow me. The armoured grenadiers are moving into the fields right in front of my hill, and then we have the HQ, the stummels, the scouts, and then the flamethrowers who moved and ended to follow me to hide behind the building. And that is where we end movement. So now we're going into the shooting. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, so in the shooting phase, the Vesps and the mortars ranged in over here. This is where the best possible angle for the mortars were. Pinned the 25 pounders and the infantry, but luckily no kills. Quite a few hits, but my saves have been good. Over here, quite a lot of shots went into this motor platoon, but one more and they would have been pinned. But luckily they've held fast, so I won't have to try and rally them. So that is it. So now we're going into British turn 1. Okay, so in my motivation step, I failed to rally this platoon with their even with a reroll. 5+ rally is quite harsh, but the 25 pounders have rallied and my ambush are in. No reinforcements yet, so that's a bit of a problem. But I have plenty of stuff to move, and hopefully I can get rid of some of these half tracks. Hopefully get rid of some of them anyway, and so we'll see where I end up in the movement phase. Okay, so plenty to move for me. The Daimlers have moved out to try and engage the flamethrowers. My infantry have occupied the factory. This lot have moved out of the hill to hopefully shoot something, and 6 pounders are on the hill ready as well. UCs are here. Other universal carriers are by there, and then the Daimlers are going, not caring about the Panthers, just going for the infantry in the woods. So that is it. So let's see what I can achieve in my shooting phase. Right, so shooting went reasonably okay for me due to the fact that Tedor's saves were very poor, very uncharacteristic saves. So the Fallschirmjäger platoon here is pinned thanks to the Daimlers and some of the motor platoon. They lost, I think, 4 bases. HQ's okay though. This platoon here is pinned also, thanks to UCs and motor platoon, and they have lost 3 bases. All the half tracks have been got rid of by 6 pounders and a Piat, and also the HQ half track. This platoon is down to 4, and then the HQ is pinned as well. The flamethrowers, one is dead and one is bailed out, so I'm going to see if I can do an assault. I'll just check to see with Tedor if I'm allowed, and then we'll get into German turn 2. Okay, motivation step for the Germans, very good. Only thing that was bad was this guy did not get back in. Everything is rallied and no fail last stand. So the Germans are good to keep on rolling forward, albeit with platoons similar to my strength, which is quite nice for a change, I suppose. But one of my platoons is out in the open, so they might not be there much longer, but we will see. So let's get into German movement. Okay, so German movement, blitz move here to try and take out my Daimlers.
HQ is successfully dug in. This platoon has moved forward to engage my guys out in the open, as well as everything surrounding them is going to try and do. The fallschirmjäger in the woods have basically gone so they can't be seen. The Panther that couldn't get into the woods now can. And the SS panzergrenadiers that were originally set up as a blocking force are moving forward to the Panthers, and as you can see the unit leaders moved forward. Uttered followed me, but they're not interested, so we are going into shooting, and this one is definitely going to hurt this time, so let's see if I can weather this storm, and Daimlers, good luck. Okay, so shooting's hit me back hard. 2 Daimlers are dead. 1 UC is bailed out, and the 6-pounders have lost a guy thanks to the mortars. UC motor platoon is down to 2. I've lost a 25-pounder and 1 infantry team over here as well. But let's just point over here. The Daimlers did not get a single hit on them, and that was 5 Panther shots there. So well, these guys can do anything now. I believe in you. So, it seems like we don't need the Shermans just yet. But there's going to be an assault coming in on my 2 guys in the middle to reduce my defensive fire. So, hopefully my defensive fire will actually work for once. And we'll see what happens. Okay, so problem for me is my motor platoon is down to 1 guy. They did manage to fend off the guys that went in. One of them died to defensive fire, and we had a few back and throw spades being thrown at each other, everything, and I had to burn my lucky card to get a counter in there. So no more lucky for me, but I think that was a well spent lucky card there. And that is it. So now we go into British turn 2. Okay, so motivations, the only thing that rallied was my 25-pounders, and then the lone remaining motor platoon and my dingo back here have had enough and driven away. So, and I have no reserves either, so Tedor is whittling me down. The stuff he is killing anyway, but hopefully I can do something and get back and pushing him away from my stuff. Because I don't want him near my stuff, so let's see what I can do. Okay, so movement. The Dingo Daimler combo moved within range of the fallschirmjäger in the woods, because you have to be within 6 for tall terrain. Other universal carriers are moved to the edge of the field so they can hit the fallschirmjäger without concealment, because they're so close. I'll double check with Tedor if that's okay. 6-pounders can't move. Well, they can move backwards, but I don't want to. And then the UCs have gone right around the back of these guys here. And, well, we'll see what I can do. So, we'll go into the shooting step. Okay, so in my shooting, I managed to bail one of the scouts with my 6-pounders. My PR2 has done so well up to this point as failed to hit this half track. These fallschirmjäger here are down to just 1 guy. The ones in the woods are down to 2, so they will be last standing as well. But with the HQ, they do have a 2+ last stand. And the fallschirmjäger back here, who I managed to range on with the 25-pounders, are last standing also. Now, I am tempted to do an assault with the UCs into this last remaining guy here. It would be nice to get rid of him. And I will be assaulting the scouts as well, limiting their defensive fire. So, wish me luck there, so we'll get into it. No doubt Tedor will probably kill the 2 guys who went in, because this is what happened last time, but let's see if I can do it. Okay, so my assaults. I managed to get a scout car for the cost of one of my infantry teams, and over here I fluffed it. I got in, didn't take any hits. Then I rolled 2 4s and a 1, and then he counter-attacked, hit, and then I rolled a 1 for my save, and then I rolled another 1 for my counter-attack, so I'm all the way back here now. But luckily I only lost 1 in the end, so that would have been a disaster otherwise. So that is it from me, so we'll go into German turn 3. Okay, so motivations. The only thing that is remaining to do is the last stand on the flamethrower.
Last stand for flamethrower.
Okay.
He's destroyed.
Okay, right, so he gets destroyed, but everyone else has rallied, and the 3 last standing fallschirmjäger units are good. So we continue the advance for the for the Germans. Okay, so with my eagerness to try and get rid of the fallschirmjäger, I'm within 4 inches, so they've not moved because they can just sneak up on me and get rid of me. One of the Panthers has moved out, the forest here, and the SS Grenadiers are all in here as well. Lone survivor, the fallschirmjäger, is gonna go for the guns, and the other 2 scout cars have moved and parked up right next to the 6-pounders. Are going, hey, let's get you off this hill, shall we? So either way, my 6-pounders are quite royally screwed up here, and let's go into the shooting, and I believe there's some smoke coming our way. Okay, so Tedor started with smoke up on the hill to provide him with a bit of help with going in with the assault. Over here he got 3 hits on these guys, but didn't kill any of them with the Panthers, but it doesn't matter because these guys are just going to knock and say, I think the war's over for you, Tommy. So that's it for them. I'm down to 1 UC over here and 1 UC by here, and that is where we're at. So reinforcements not arriving is bad, really bad for me, but let's see what I can do. So we're into the assault phase. Okay, so as expected, the brave Daimlers have surrendered to the Fallschirmjäger, and up on the hill, 2 of the 6-pounders have been captured by the lone survivor, who's done very well, taking out a UC and taking out 2 6-pounders, and then the scouts have not getting involved because they're going to be harder to hit. So that is where we leave it. So we're on to British turn 3, and we will be getting reserves in. Okay, so motivation. I managed to rally my infantry platoon by here. That's well done, boys. And what else have we got over here? 25-pounders have rallied. 6-pounder did not rally, but he didn't fail his last stand. This universal carrier didn't fail his last stand, and the 6-pounder I mentioned already didn't fail the last stand. And the other good point is I have 2 reserves coming in. Hooray! So they'll be moving in somewhere quickly, needing to get somewhere, and we'll get into the movement step. So here the cavalry arriving, better late than never. So these guys did a dash up to here because they were too close to the 8cm mortars, but they are a bit closer now because they did a successful follow me. The other guys are skirting around the church here, just to try and deal with the Vesps. My UC, the last standing, is going for the last standing Fallschirmjäger, see if I can get rid of him. And then the other motor platoon is going to go for the scouts. Hopefully the 6-pounder will get rid of one of them, and then hopefully my Piat will get rid of another. But ifs and buts, so let's see what I can do. Ouch, my shooting did not go very well, so I missed with the Sherman on the Vesp. And then I missed with a Piat and a 6-pounder on the Scout, so I'm going to have to do it the hard way. Terrible. And the UC didn't get any hits, but I did manage to range in first time with the 25-pounders. I salute you. Excellent, guys. Royal Artillery. I killed another Fallschirmjäger base and the executive officer, and pinned all units in the woods. So that's good going, I suppose. Right, next we have some assaults, so these guys are going to have to do it the hard way. I might be able to peel off enough defensive fire so I can get 3 shots coming at me, but that'll probably be enough. And then the UC is going to go for it because he's going to run away or get killed at some point, so I'm going to have to go for him. Okay, so the assault, I managed to get rid of one of the scout cars with no casualties, and the other guy failed his counterattack. I couldn't quite get him and he pulled away. And then the UC managed to dodge shots from him because he was actually in defensive fire, but I didn't kill the last Fallschirmjäger, and he didn't kill me, but then we just both went our separate ways after I failed my counterattack. So that is it, and now we are going into German turn 4. Okay, so motivations. This guy is sticking around, he loves it on a 4. The only people who did not rally were the SS, which is not great because they're the ones who are pretty much full strength. and the guy in the field who has done so much work has decided he has done enough and has walked away. So that is it. So now we go into German movement as they close in on the objectives. Okay, so what is left of the combat units of the fallschirmjäger making their way towards the 25 pounders. Panthers are moving up as well. SS have managed to dig in, and the heavy machine gun has done a blitz to move to the edge of the forest. Stummels have moved up. Can't see many of my guys, but enough to cause me problems. And then we have the remaining scout going for my 6 pounder. So really getting hemmed in against the riverbanks here. Again, my Sherman's a bit too far back to maybe affect the outcome of this game, but we have shooting and I need to weather the storm again. Okay, so over behind the hill here, they're holding firm, taking hits but no one dying. Over here, likewise, everyone's pinned apart from the HQ, but everyone else is going okay, apart from the inevitable assault that is going to be coming in on my boys. But let's see if I can hold strong continually on this flank. Okay, so in the assault phase, my 6 pounder has been killed, but then my platoon countered and got rid of the guy who got me. And over here, the woes of the fallschirmjäger shall be sung in ages for this battle. I scored 2 hits in defensive fire, 1 on each, and that was enough to kill them. And these fallschirmjäger have been plagued from the beginning of this game, which is unfortunate, but one of them did carry the day, going through universal carriers and 6 pounders, and he lives to tell his tale. So let's continue with my turn, and it is British turn 4. Okay, so in the motivation, my universal carrier has run away, but everyone else has managed to rally, and I get 1 more unit of reserves in. So 1 more turn, and they will all be in. Hooray! So let's see where I can end up with my movement. Okay, so movement. My Shermans are gone to position so they can fire at this this one vest by here. My infantry have managed to get behind the back of the Stummels, so that's not too bad for me. The other Shermans have got within 6 inches of the 8cm mortars. They'll try and finish them off, and everyone else has remained stationary because the Piat is on the wrong side of this objective to try and get rid of Tedor from it. So let's see if I can whittle down any more of his formation. So let's have a go. So down here I got 2 hits on this vest, but I only managed to bail him. These Shermans here finished off the 8cm mortars. The 25 pounders managed to get 2 more kills on the grenadiers here. Didn't get any hits on the Stummels, but hopefully I can get a few of them when I go into the assault. So let's see if I can get that. Okay, so I didn't get any hits in the assault, but Tedor decided to break off because he's going to just gun it for this objective over here, which is a problem because I won't be able to reach him. It will be a matter of me trying to finish off the rest of his formation. So we go into German turn 5. Well, that was some terrible motivations from Tedor. He only had 1 remount and 1 pin down unit. These guys getting back on the 2, he rolled a 1. And these guys rallying on a 3+, and he rolled a 2. That's a shame, right? But the problem that I have is these guys have got what I would call an open goal towards my objective. So that means I have a turn to react, to do something about this, and wish for the best. So let's see what I can do. Okay, so in the movement, the HQs have finally moved. They're going to engage my guys in the open, and 2 Stummels have been left behind as well to do the same job. So these guys will probably get mowed down, and that will be it for them. Okay, so shooting down by here has reduced this motor platoon down to a Piat and a unit leader, and that's what I've got. Over here, I've lost a 25 pounder due to direct shots from the Panthers, and there is an assault coming in with the Panthers now. We'll have to check, only one might be able to get in. Actually the others might be able to get in, but I already have one defensive fire shot from the 25 pounders, or 2 shots actually, but there's smoke, so it's going to be difficult to hit it. Okay, so no hits in defensive fire, no hits for the Germans in the assault. Failed my counter-attack. Infantry boys were able to get back, but I lost a 25 pounder in the process. That's a shame. So we're into British turn 5. Okay, so in the motivation, I managed to rally the guys by the bridge. The guys by the factory have run away, and the 25 pounders have rallied also. So I have quite a lot to do, but I need to first of all get rid of those stummels, which is practically impossible now, but I'll give it a good shot. So we'll get into my movement, and my HQ's coming on finally, so we'll see what he can do. Okay, so my movement, I've got as much as I can into position to try and break Tedor's formation, because that's all I can do, because I can only reach one of the 7.5s over here with my 25 pounder, and that's not enough, so I'm going to have to go for other prey instead. So let's see what I can do. Okay, so unfortunately I wasn't able to get any kills that turn. Ranged in my 25 pounders on the HQ, didn't get any hits, and then everyone who was in range fired. I only got one hit, so it wasn't enough, and so there's no need to do the assault, because even if I kill them all in a miracle, he still has 2 units formation, and these guys are on the objective. So costly victory. So no bonus going into the next game, so at least something for me. Now my man of the match. Now honourable mention to the Daimler troop over there that managed to dodge Panther rounds for 2 turns before succumbing. Well, actually they did manage a 3rd turn. It was the infantry that took them out. Another mention to the guys on the infantry around here. But I think my man of the match, I think a thorn in the side for Tedor were my 25 pounders. I don't know if you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, and your man of the match, I'm sure it won't be your fallschirmjäger dice.
For sure, so no fallschirmjägers. And I think the man of the match will be the Panthers, actually.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, they were a menace.
They came in, they killed 125 pounder, they cleared this objective, and basically put a lot of pressure on this side, and you were like committed to this side, and you couldn't do anything about the other side, where the Stummels just went in, and maybe the reconnaissance platoon, I'm thinking. You think the reconnaissance should deserve more?
Well, I think the Stummels, well, they're the ones who won the game for you, and they managed to survive an assault. Obviously, yeah. I think. Yeah, they took out the Daimlers, Universal Carriers, yeah, everyone, yeah.
Yeah, let's make the Stummels.
Yeah, I think, yeah, Stummels, because to be honest though, I think the Panthers did whiff. The 3 Panthers couldn't get rid of 3 Daimlers in 3 turns of shooting. I think those guys need to be shot. But yeah, so that is that mission done. The next mission is going to be rearguard, and Tedor's is defending, and it is a horrible mission to defend, because you have to slowly withdraw your units while the enemy comes at you, and then we have rearguard, and then we have one final mission to conclude the river campaign in Market Garden. And again, Tedor and his SS Wehrmacht contingent is victorious on the field of battle, but this time after sustaining heavy casualties. And not a single one of my Shermans were killed.
Very hard, but I'm still proud that I succeeded with the historical list, because I wouldn't have taken
Yeah.
It's not my style. But yeah, I was lucky because you made that assault on the Sturmos. Okay, it was very juicy, but that also gave me a free bridge to take.
Yeah.
So maybe if you would have put your mortar platoon on the bridge, then my chances to cross with them would have been very, very slim because I would have had to kill them all.
Yeah, well, when I did my consolidation move off the assault, I was going to move them onto the bridge, and then I was going to move them back into that hotel, and then I was like, but they're there, and you know they're not very good in assault, and I thought I could get them, but yeah, proved to be costly. Those guys going for it, but I didn't think I would be so solid on the other flank. You know, with the Panthers being thwarted again by the 25-pounders. Like, although they were on the objective now, give it another turn. Obviously, my Sherman's again involved more. Maybe would have ground you out, but
the issue with this scenario is that the reserves arrive to the back, and usually the entire army, the entire attackers army, just runs towards the objective, and you don't have time to come and get them. Maybe if they would have put like you come on the corners or something like that, so you get a little bit more distance to cover or less distance to cover, then it would have been fair. But this one is very, very hard for the defender. Once, I mean, if you don't get your reserve in the first turn, they're almost useless.
Yeah, and was it turn 3? I got 2 on, but as I said, my plan was my first turn reserves were going to skirt around the church, take out one of the Vesps, so your Vesps are instantly not as good, and well, just couldn't do it in the end. Like, you had enough leeway then to move your Grenadiers up from their position, and yeah, it's just too late them coming in. But I didn't lose a Sherman this time, so I'm calling that quite good.
yeah, you still have your Shermans.
Yeah, I don't know how it's a weird one how this battle will pan out, where there's a Sherman squadron behind you and you're waving your flag going, "We won, we've taken the bridge," and then there's loads of Shermans turning up, and yeah, so it's an interesting one.